297 engineers in Hyderabad only. We had no development center in Bangalore. On my first visit in August of 2012 to Hyderabad, I told our team here, they are an innovation center. They are not a sustaining engineering bug fixing center. They are not a technical writing center. They are a center where products will come. They will be incubated, designed, architected, executed and developed, packaged and released to customers, all in India. Today we have the privilege of working with 6,300 plus engineers in India, world class. We have dozens and dozens of product. 3 from the 5 aviators that are already available to our customers were developed and born in Hyderabad or Bangalore. 4 more of the one that will come in January of 2024 are developed in Hyderabad and Bangalore. We are committed to India. We are committed to continue to grow on an engineering front, but we are also, I am committed to continue to support Saurabh as we grow in both having the privilege of serving the Indian government, but also having the privilege of serving many of the private customers in the private sector who play in every industry, whether it's technology, whether it's engineering, structural and architecture, whether it's manufacturing or trade, whether it's financial sector, whether it's media, similar to what we do in Los Angeles to Hollywood. We would love to serve customers and the great companies in Bollywood. We would love to serve the great banks, the great pharmaceuticals, many of the great industries that are prospering in India. Saurabh will be serving. I will be supporting him with every opportunity I can. And I come quarterly to India. It's become my second home. Every 3 to 4 months, I'm here 1 to 2 weeks. And I look forward to joining him on customer visits in the future and continue to grow and prosper in India. Back to you, Saurabh.
Thanks so much, Muhi. Thanks so much for that support. And Saloni, we are done with the presentation. And Guardian Saloni, if you can then mediate the question and answers, please. We'll open up the forum for questions. Guardian, over to you.
Sure, sir. So I think the first question that we have is, I guess for you, Muhi, if you can talk a little bit more about the hiring plans in India in terms of the engineering team.
Okay. I hope the example I just shared, growing from under 300 to 6,300, is a great example of our commitment. We will continue to grow organically or through acquisitions. As we acquire new companies, we will ensure that they have a development center represented in India, and some of their products are innovated, supported, and developed in our India Development Center. Today, we are very big in Hyderabad, we're bigger in Bangalore, and we're starting small in 2 other locations where OpenText have offices. Our goal is to leverage and tap into all the strength of the engineering skills that are available in India to continue to grow.
Thank you. And I think in the same vein, it would be good to understand the kind of projects, some of the leading projects, the involvement of the India engineering team in the aviator product development as well.
Of course. Let me give examples that relate to different products. The example you saw for the content aviator was developed here in Hyderabad. In Hyderabad, we support and develop our extended ECM in the private cloud and our core content in the public cloud. They are designed, product management is here, engineering is here, QA is here, packaging, release, and certifications are here. Documentum. The Aviator, the Content Aviator, will also be integrated into Documentum. Documentum is 100% developed in Bangalore Development Center. The Business Fabric Supply Chain Aviator I mentioned is developed in Bangalore. 95% of the engineering team for supply chain and the Business Fabric division is in the Bangalore Development Center. The Security Aviator, half the team is in Bangalore, our Micro Focus colleague, and half the team is in Canada and Germany. They are the ones that have been partnering to develop and integrate the Security Aviator in every one of the products. The Customer Communication Extreme Aviator is fully developed here in the Hyderabad office and the Hyderabad experience team. I met with them. That team is working on 2 other proof concepts for Right Facts and for media management that I am hoping will become also projects that will be incubated, developed, and released out of the Hyderabad Development Center. The ADM Development Aviator was not developed in India. We are in the process of building a 30-people engineering team, either in Hyderabad or Bangalore, that will support our ADM and our DevSecOps Aviator in the future.
Thank you so much. And I encourage everyone to submit their questions through the Q&A box. You can find the Q&A box right below the slide. Also, I think Saurabh, the next question for you would be, in terms of AI, what is the kind of feedback you've been hearing from the market, when you're talking about Aviator? Just how is the industry reacting to, having AI a reality in terms of products being offered by OpenText?
AI, clearly, as Mohi talked about, right? We are at that pivotal stage where everybody is exploring how they can extract the best value out of AI. We've seen that from the Government of India as well with the India AI report, and how the government is talking about in the next, by 2025, AI will contribute almost $450 to $500 billion on the GDP. The push is clearly coming from the government. I can give you an example. In the last few days or so, we saw the election results from 4 or 5 states coming out, and we saw many media channels actually leveraging AI to do a lot of analytics on those as well. There's a lot of interest on AI and Aviator in our customer ecosystem as well. Customers who are leveraging solutions across board on IT operations management and cybersecurity, as well as content and DevOps, are looking at and evaluating our AI solutions. We see, given the fact that, as Mohi also pointed out, India is a highly skilled market, both from an engineering standpoint, which applies to us as vendors, and also applies to customers who have skilled manpower, right? And hence the traction that we see around AI is very, very high, and that's why we believe that with OpenText Aviator, we will have the edge to not just give a solution in a specific area, but comprehensively cut across the entire ecosystem of our portfolio and provide solutions through Aviator versions for each of the products. So we're seeing, we're very excited about the prospects of AI and Aviator in the country.
Thank you, Saurabh. And I think the next question is kind of a question about a company itself. So, Mohi, maybe you would want to take this. When we say information management, what is the scope of information that we are talking about?
Yeah.
What do we mean when we say information?
That's great. Information management, let me start with a very high-level statement. For the next 20 to 30 years, information is the new currency of the digital world we live in. For us, information is anything that is exchanged between a customer and a partner, a customer and a supplier, a customer and consumer. a consumer to consumer. It's any type of information. For us, information can be structured, sitting in databases, relational or in memory, in SAP, in Salesforce, in Oracle e-business suite, in SuccessFactor, in Microsoft Office Teams, in Microsoft Office 365, in Google Workspace. We integrate in every one of those companies that I mentioned today out of the box. And we are the only vendor in the world that give you that integration out of the box. It doesn't cost you millions of dollars to hire hundreds of consultants to integrate into SAP. We give it to you in the native SAP UI, in the native Salesforce UI. We then allow you to also manage unstructured data, things that lay on network drive, things that lay in email, attachment, email. Give you an example, some of our customers stores billions. We have one customer that has 37 billion email. They are a government entity in the US. By law, they have to keep every email that is sent to any of their email servers. They store it all in our system. They govern it with record management, and then they archive it, but keep it in read-only format available on disk in secure data centers. So any type of information, EDI document that moves, if you think of companies like BMW, they interact with 700 or 800 different suppliers around the world that provide them parts to build a BMW car. Takata airbags, Michelin tires, electronics from JBL, lights from a light manufacturer, steel from a company in South Korea. All of that interaction happens through our platform. So for us, it's any information. And if you look at our historical acquisition, we acquired companies that brought to us more information that are relevant around the world. DevSecOps is relevant to every industry. Bank of America uses our tool to support 40,000 engineers. BMW uses our tool in multiple development centers to test the 7 million line of code that sits in a single BMW car today. So those are few examples of we support and manage and secure. Security is critical. Saurabh touched on that. Security is the most important thing, because there are companies that have run out of business because they couldn't protect their IP and hackers stole their IP and sold it on the black market. There are many examples I could give you of companies who used to be leaders in their industry. There are governments that lost secrets because they couldn't protect content. We are proud to serve 15 of the top 15 governments in the Western world. India is one of them. US, Canada, Germany, Spain, France, Italy, Netherlands, Singapore, Australia, New Zealand. They trust OpenText platform, and they will trust the OpenText Aviator to add value to their platforms.
Thank you, Mohit. Saurabh, there are a couple of questions around cybersecurity portfolio. So in fact, I think to sum it up, I feel it would be good for you to just give us an overview in terms of how strong our cybersecurity portfolio is in India, in terms of our business growth, how we have, where we stand in terms of going to our customers with our top-end products and all of that. If you can just share a little bit.
Thanks so much. That's a great question. And so you can go back to the cybersecurity slide as well. That's probably going to re-emphasize what our portfolio is. Just go back the previous slide, right? And, the next slide. The next slide, right? So talking to let me give you a perspective of how we're engaging on cybersecurity with the enterprise, which is the private sector. And when I say enterprise, I talk about all the banking, financial institutions. I talk about telecom companies. I talk about ITES. I talk about the manufacturing companies. I talk about pharma and life sciences companies, and government and public sector, right? And the mid-market place. And if you look at our cybersecurity portfolio, and you can see that on the right, it's very compelling at the end of the day, right? We protect not just what matters most to each of the customers, and that can include data, and that can include applications, can include devices, and include identities. But we also wrap it up with a very comprehensive threat intelligence detection and response platform. And we've been fortunate, as I said, to have a lot of traction across the customer ecosystem, whether it is banking and finance, large financial institutions, which includes bank and insurance companies, whether it is across ITES, again, with a combination of solutions. So if it's a software developer or a software company, right, we see with security, we have a role to play as part of the DevSecOps, right? So we do a lot of work in the DevSecOps cycle with application security. We are pure leaders. Our biggest growth in the country has happened in the application security domain. And what we're seeing today is a lot of traction on next generation security operating centers, right? And most of the customers now looking at adding on to their SIEM capabilities, just logger and correlation with threat detection and response capabilities. And that's where we're seeing a lot of traction as well. Our engagement, as I said, spans across the ecosystem of private enterprises, government and public sector. I can't name customers here, but I can tell you that the largest of, we have installations on SIEM across